Just write down Java not attended. If you have not attended any Java classes yet, just write down Java not attended. Is there such person right now who has not attended any Java class? Okay, so that's great. At least everyone has attended Java class. Okay, everyone has attended the Java grooming for your respective requirements. Java grooming is done. I want everyone to reply. Don't act as dead bodies over here. Okay, good, good, good. All right, all right. So now, out of you people, how many of you have never attended any J2EE batch? Sir, we have not attended any J2EE batch till now. Write down J2EE not attended. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. Anyone else? Anyone else? So we have approximately 10 people who have not yet attended any J2EE. All right, not a problem, guys. So Vaibhavi Shinde, Purab Chavan, Anuja Jakapure, then Sajid Pathan, Dheeraj Shelke, and then Shrijit Falke, Vaibhav Kapadne, Sohel Sheikh, Shubham Umte, Rutik Akolkar, Pragati Srivastav, Shreya Deshmukh, then Nikhil Dahibhate, Pankaj Pawade. Okay, so these are the students who have not attended any J2EE batch. All right, Diksha Shinde, okay, Ashish Swami. All right, so you people have not attended any J2EE batch, but I hope, did you understand anything from the Java grooming? Have you completed the Java grooming? The names that I just called out. Did you attend the Java groomings? Voice is breaking, guys. My voice is audible perfectly. Yeah, so guys, those who are having issue in my voice, check your network connection, please. Okay, there is some network connection problem at your end. All right, so let us start with this J2EE grooming right now. Okay, so as you people know, Java will be all the basics, whatever we need for J2EE, Java will be the base for that. Okay, so whatever you have learned in your Java batch or the Java grooming will be required over here. Okay, it will be required over here. Now, what all topics we are going to cover in J2EE? Okay, so the very first point that we will be covering in J2EE will be multi-threading. Okay, it is multi-threading. Give me a minute, let me set up. Yeah, so the first point, first topic we are going to see is multi-threading. Okay, now you all must have heard about multitasking or multi-processing. Okay, but this, what is this multi-threading? We will see that as the first concept of J2EE grooming. Okay, so the people who have not attended any J2EE session, okay, you, what you can do is you can focus on this. Okay, you have to be very very concentrated right now. Okay, whatever I explain, even that much of you catch up. Okay, even if you catch up that much, that will be more than enough for your interviews. Okay, I'll be teaching you from the interview perspective. Okay, so make sure that you are focusing on the entire grooming session today. Okay, make sure you are focusing properly. Okay, so the first topic is what we are going to see: multi-threading. Then there is something called as garbage collector. Okay, in Java, there is some component called as garbage collector. Now, what is this garbage collector? When does it come into picture? Okay, we'll be seeing all these things. Okay, then the third thing that we will see is JDBC. Now, this particular topic is very, very important. Okay, as many stars I give here, it is yes. Okay, because it is a very, very important topic. Okay, from interview perspective, JDBC is a real important topic. If you answer whatever today, I'm telling you, I already said, whatever grooming I'm going to take today is going to be from the perspective of the interview. So even if you catch whatever I tell you today, that will be enough for cracking your interview. Okay, so please focus. Then after this JDBC, we are going to see something called as hibernate. Okay, hibernate we are going to see. What is this hibernate? I'll explain you. Okay, after JDBC we are going to see hibernate. Then one topic is servlet and JSP. Okay, this is one whole topic for us. This servlet and JSP will be one whole topic for us. Now, this is also very, very important from the point of view of interview. Okay, and after that, the final thing we are going to see is Spring Framework. Okay, we are going to see what Spring Framework. Now, I won't actually teach you entire Spring Framework over here. I will just give you the overview of this framework. Okay, what overview? Because some companies, not all, okay, for now today there are approximately 10 companies that we are having over here for today's grooming. Okay, so there are people from students from 10 different requirements. Okay, so now so some of these companies want the knowledge on Spring Framework. Okay, but some of them do not want. But I don't want you all to stick to the grooming only if you have the Spring Framework required. No, I want everyone to listen to the Spring Framework grooming very properly. Okay, it might come up that you might apply for any other interview where this particular thing is required. So in that particular scenario, this particular grooming will be helpful for you. Okay, so start like revising once we are done with the grooming. Okay, I will provide you the notes also. Okay, I will provide you the notes till servlets and JSP. This entire thing we will do. Okay, but this Spring Framework, only partial requirements are there who are asking for Spring Framework. Okay, but everyone has to focus on these topics today. Okay, now let us start with this particular topic, multi-threading. Okay, if people you want to start making notes while I'm teaching, that is also okay. You can make the notes of your own and you can learn the things in your own way. Okay, that will be actually a better way. Why? Because whenever I teach, it is not possible that you will remember word to word. Okay, so I want you people to start making the notes on your own also. All right, so yes, today we are going to see the first topic as multi-threading. Now, how many of you have heard about multitasking and multi-processing? I think many of you must have heard about this already. Multitasking and multi-processing. Okay, we have seen these words before, but multi-threading is the word that we have not seen before. Okay, now what is this multi-threading and multitasking? Let me tell you. All right, so let me divide it very easily for you. Okay, this is one task. Okay, if I call this one thing as one task. Okay, what can be a task? Now, as you are attending one grooming, okay, you are attending one grooming. Now, this is one task for you. Okay, that you have to attend the grooming. Now inside this task, okay, inside this task, there will be multiple processes. Now this will be one multiple process, this will be one process, this will be one process. Okay, all these are what? Multiple process. So one task is actually made up of multiple processes. Okay, it is made up of multiple processes. But inside this process also, there are multiple components. Okay, what are these components? These are called as threads. Okay, these are called as what? Threads. Now, in the same way, okay, I can give you one simple example. I can just say what? Task. If I have to define task, task is made up of multiple processes. Okay, then I can say process is what? Process is made up of multiple threads. Am I not audible, guys? Soham, check your internet connection. I think I'm perfectly audible. Okay, process is made up of multiple threads. Okay, process is made up of multiple threads. Now, what example can I give you? Okay, simple. Imagine, okay, imagine everyone, imagine that we are making one pizza. Okay, our task is what? To make one pizza. Now, what all do we have to do this pizza? Now, first of all, multitasking. Simple. Multitasking means what? Performing multiple tasks at same time is multitasking. Okay, and multi-processing means what? Performing multiple processes at one time is multi-processing. Now, multitasking means what? In one side, right now, what you are doing? You are attending the grooming. In one side, you are watching reels or chatting to your girlfriend and boyfriend. You are multi-talented people. You are doing multiple tasks at same time. Correct? So this is what? This is the multitasking scenario where you are performing multiple tasks at the same time. All right, that is multitasking. Now, what is this multi-processing? Now, if I am defining that task is made up of multiple processes. Okay, so in order to complete one task, I have to make some processes complete. I have to complete some processes in order to complete one task. Now, how to do this? How to categorize it as process? Now, let's say my task is to make pizza. Okay, my task is to make pizza. What all processes will be included over here? Okay, my first process will be what? To take flour, correct? Then to take water, then take baking soda, then what else? Take yeast, then mix it. Okay, my process will be what? To mix all the content. Okay, then after mixing, I will make a dough of it. Okay, then I will do what? Cut vegetables for toppings, correct? Then next task will be what? Cook the vegetables, then put the toppings, and then bake the pizza. So let's say we are having these 10 processes involved over here. Now, what you can do? here, instead of doing one process at a time, can you actually do multiple processes at a time? Tell me, can you actually do multiple processes at single time? I can do what? Yes, Madhuri, yes, actually I can take multiple processes at a single time. What I can do, instead of taking water separately, I can take at one time. Okay, then taking baking soda, taking yeast, I can do it at one time. Okay, after I have all these things once, okay, I can mix all the content at the same time. Instead of first doing what, only flour and water, I can do what, flour, I can put water also, I can put baking soda also, I can put yeast also. Correct, I can put all of it at one time and I can mix it at a time. Okay, then what I can do, I will make dough. Okay, I will make the dough, and one side I will cut the veggies also. And once I have cut the veggies, was, let's say I have put the veggies for cooking. Okay, till then I will make the dough. Okay, then here, for one pizza base, okay, one pizza base, I will bake the pizza. For another pizza base, what I will do, I will put the toppings. One pizza I will put for baking, one pizza I will put the toppings, one pizza, third pizza I'll put for baking, fourth pizza I will put the toppings. So actually what I am doing here, okay, I am actually doing multiple processes at the same time. Instead of doing them one by one, I am doing what, I am completing those processes, multiple processes at same time. Ek haath se I took this water also, ek haath se I took the floor also. Correct, I could have taken only floor. Okay, keep the floor, then go for the water, get the water. But what am I doing, in one hand I'm taking the floor also, in one hand I'm taking the water also. Then instead of taking baking soda and yeast separately, I'm taking the one in hand, in one hand I'm taking baking soda, in one hand I'm taking yeast. So what I'm doing, actually I'm performing multiple processes at one time. Okay, so this task, one task is actually made up of multiple processes. Okay, and whenever I am doing multiple tasks at one time, I can say that it is a yo. Okay, I can say that it is multiple tasking, means multitasking. Okay, so if I am doing what, simply I am doing multiple tasks at one time. Okay, multiple tasks at a time, okay, is multitasking. Okay, then if I am doing, like I told you, I will take the water also, I will take the floor also at the single time. So multiple processes at a time is multi-processing. Okay, then now we have to see what, we have to see the concept of multi-threading. Now just as I told you that what, this entire task, let's say this task was to make pizza. So one task we had take flour, one task we had take water, one had take yeast, one we had take baking soda. Now inside this also, now if you are taking flour, okay, now imagine I want to take this much of flour, इतना आटा मुझे लेना है पिज्जा बनाने के लिए. Now this atta also, I can take this much of atta at one time, or else I can do one thing, I can take small piece of atta. Okay, I can take small piece of atta at a time. This much atta will take, this much atta, this much, this much, this much, this much, this much. Okay, I can take this much, one spoon, one spoon, one small spoon every time. Means what, if I need 100 grams of atta, okay, I need 100 grams of atta, either I can take 100 grams of flour at a time, or else I can take these pieces, I can say it is 1 gram pieces. Okay, it is 1 grams pieces. Means how many 1 gram pieces are there in 100 grams of flour? In 100 grams of flour, how many times I can take 1 gram? 100 times I can take 1 gram. Correct. So instead of taking 100 times, I am taking how many times? I am taking only one time. I'm taking the entire 100-gram flour at one time. So if I say this flour, take the flour is a process, correct? This process is actually made up of small threads. Okay, the smallest unit of a process is called as a thread. Okay, and a process is made up of multiple threads. Okay, as we have written, I guess we have written it over here. Yes, process is made up of multiple threads. So instead of taking one thread at a time, 1 gram of flour, 1 gram of flour, 1 gram of flour, what I'll do, I'll take all the threads at a time. Means what I'm doing, all these threads, all these one gram of flour, I am executing at one time. Okay, so it means that multiple threads I am executing at one time. So as we saw over here, multiple tasks at a time is multitasking. Multiple processes at a time is multi-processing. Same way. Okay, how can I define a thread? Whoever, please check your internet connection. I don't think there is a problem at my end. Okay, so multi-threading. What? How can we actually define a thread? Okay, threads are the smallest unit or of the process, or one more definition is there for this thread. Okay, I can say, or it is a lightweight process. Okay, means what? It is a process only, but it is a lightweight process. So either I can say threads are the smallest unit of the process, or it is a lightweight process. Okay, so that is what we are looking at. Now this, if I say it is a thread, then how will I actually define multi-threading? Give me a minute. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so let me write it once again. Thread is what? It is the smallest unit of a process, or it is a lightweight process. Okay, so this is how you can define a thread. Now if I have to define multi-threading, okay, if I have to define multi-threading, how will I define multi-threading? Multiple threads, yeah, multiple threads at a time is multi-threading. Okay, so this is how you can explain multi-threading. First of all, we saw what is task. Task is made up of multiple process. Then what is actually a task? It is some objective that we want to achieve. Okay, so we saw that task is made up of multiple processes, and multiple tasks, executing multiple tasks at a time is multitasking. Process is made up of multiple threads. Okay, and it is actually the part of a task. Okay, then multiple processes at a time is called as multi processing. Now we saw the diagrammatical expression of task. If I am executing a task, I have to execute these processes, and if I am executing one process, okay, it is actually made up of multiple tasks, sorry, threads. Okay, so if we saw this, if this was a process, Okay, if this was my process, then this small thing, okay, this small thing is what? It is actually a thread. Okay, this small thing is a thread over here. Okay, so this process is made up of multiple threads, and I can say thread is the smallest unit of the process, or it is a lightweight process. Now multiple threads, executing multiple threads at a time, is called as multi-threading. Okay, not times, it is time. Okay, so this is our theoretical concept. Okay, just the concept of thread and multi-threading. Now we will see what is actually thread in Java. Okay, how can we make a thread in Java? Okay, sir, this is the theory, but what is the practical? Okay, in Java, what do we have? We have classes and interfaces. Okay, we have classes and interfaces. So a thread in Java is nothing but a thread in Java is a special class. Okay, why do I say that? Why do I call it as a special class? Now simply, how will a normal class execute? It will execute with the help of main method. Okay, it will execute with the help of main method, but that is not the case for a thread. Thread has to run with the help of run method. Okay, thread has to run with the help of run method. It will not run with the help of main method. Means main method has to be there to call a thread. Okay, but that thread will be executed using run method, or else it will run. If we do not have this run method in that class, okay, then it will behave like a normal Java class. It will not behave like a special class. Okay, if we include this run method in that class, only then it will behave like a special class, that is a thread class. Okay, now how can we make this class special? Okay, means how can we create a thread? Okay, there are two ways in which we can create a thread. Let's say I have a class by the name my thread. Okay, I have a class with the name my thread. Now how can I make it as a special class in Java? I can do it in two ways. Okay, I can do it in two ways. Either I can use class my thread extends thread. Sorry, extends thread. Okay, so first way is what? I can extend my class to the thread class, or else I also have one more option over here, that I can actually implement. Okay, I can implement a runnable interface. Implements runnable. Okay, so I guess everyone, those who are still in the new Java batches, okay, I hope you have seen in the Java grooming what is extends and implements. Okay, now this thread is a predefined class in Java. This runnable is a predefined interface in Java. So now what happens? I have to create a thread. In how many ways I can create a thread? I can create it in two ways. One way is what? I can extend the my thread class to thread class. Then the second way is what? I can implement the runnable interface in my thread class. Okay, so these are the two ways in which you can create a thread. Now when you have to start this thread, okay, when you have to start this thread, means to ask the thread, to ask the class to behave as a thread. How will I do it? Okay, so let's say in the first method, I will say, I will do what? I will say my thread extends. Okay, let me write it in proper ways. Class my thread extends thread. Okay, so Let me reduce the size. First way of creating the thread. So here what I will do, I will simply check it. Okay, that yes, here what I do, I will extend the thread class. Then over here, just I will override this run method. Okay, I will override the run method. And inside this run method, I will give the body. What body means? This run method will actually contain some logic. Okay, and whatever logic is there, okay, it will be the behavior of my thread. Okay, means if I am writing some printing statement over there, so whenever I will run my thread, this particular printing statement will get execute. Okay, now if I am doing this, what do I need to do? Okay, let's say this is my first class, that is my thread, and I will have one more class, let's say thread main. Yo, thread main. Okay, now has to be one word. Inside this thread main class, what will I do? I will write a main method. Okay, I will write a main method. And inside this main method, okay, I will say what? I will create the object of my thread class. Okay, and once I have created the object, I will say my thread dot start. Okay, now when I say this my thread dot start, okay, give me 1 second. All right, when I say this my thread dot start, what will happen? This particular logic will get invoked. Okay, from here this particular logic will get invoked, means the run method will come and execute. It will get executed. Why? Because I am not simply starting. Like, what do we actually use this start method for our normal Java classes? No, we don't use any start method for our normal Java classes, but we are using this start method to start this run method, to call this run method. Okay, this particular run method will be called if I am actually executing the start method with the help of my thread class object. Okay, so what is happening over here? This start method is actually present in the thread class. Okay, this particular start method, okay, this start method is present in the thread class. Okay, and whenever I am extending this particular my thread class to thread class, then this is also getting the properties of thread class due to the factor of this inheritance. Okay, then once I call this start method, the start method has an implicit call to the run method. So once I call the start method, it will implicitly call the run method also. Give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, so whenever I am actually running this thread with the help of start method, it is calling this run method internally. Okay, I don't need to call this run method. This start method will only call the run method internally. I don't need to do anything else. Okay. Now, this was the first way of creating a thread, correct? Where I was actually extending thread class to the my thread class. Now, in the second way, okay, in the second way, what can we do? We actually have to do what? We actually need to, give me 1 minute. Yes. Okay. We actually need to implement the runnable interface. Okay. So if I am actually doing class my thread implements runnable, okay, implements runnable. Now there will be a default statement of overriding the, hey, what happened? Yo. Now I will get a default option to override the run method. Okay. In this case also, I have to provide the implementation for the run method over here. So here also what I'll do, I will override the run method. Is it visible, guys? The font, or should I increase the font? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So here also I will override the run method. Same way here also I will give the behavior of the thread. For an example, I can write down system dot out dot print ln. This is my first thread. Okay, my thread is running. Okay, I can write this particular statement over there. Okay, it will just get printed. All right, then this will be my thread class. Then what do I need to do for, eh, what is happening? One second, guys, there is some issue over here. Okay, let me write it again. So if I am doing what, I am implementing runnable interface. See, my thread implements runnable. Okay, now inside this also I have to override what, the run method. I have to override the run method. Okay, and here let's say I will give one printing statement, simple printing statement, that is system dot out dot println, and I will say my thread is running. Okay, and this will be the behavior of my thread class. Then I will have to create one more class where there will be main method. So I will create thread main, and I will give the main method inside that particular class. Okay, I will write the main method over here. Okay, and simply now this thread method contains this start method. So as I am not extending my thread class to runnable thread class, okay, now I am implementing the runnable interface. So what I have to do, let's say if I will create the object of my thread class this time. Okay, if I do this, okay, my thread equals new my thread. Okay, now as this my thread is implementing runnable, okay, and it is not extending thread class. Okay, problem is the start method that I need to use is actually present in thread class. Okay, it is not present in runnable. Then how will I start it as a thread? If I don't use a start method, it will not run. Okay, it will not run as a thread. So what do I need to do to in order to use that start method? Okay, what I will do this time, I will create the object of thread class directly. Okay, I will create the object of thread class directly, and sorry, and inside the constructor of my of the thread class, I will pass the object of my thread class. Okay, what I am doing, observe very carefully. Okay, actually I am passing this object of my thread class in the constructor of thread class. Okay, simply then now what I can do after this sentence, okay, after this sentence, now I can actually use the here, now I can use the thread dot start method. Okay, thread dot start method I can use, and this will actually help me to do what? This will actually help me to call the run method from my thread class. Now if I run this, what will happen if I use this start method? What will happen? This logic will be executed. Okay, this logic will get executed for this start method. This logic will only get executed. So if you actually observe the difference, if I am directly extending thread class, I don't have to create the object of thread class. Okay, can we use thread class method without extending thread class? Can we use thread class method? You can use, but for that you need to use the thread class object. Okay, without extending thread class, yes, you can use the thread class methods. But Pankaj, yes, you can use it, but for that you need to create the object of thread class. But then if you are not extending the thread class, you have to implement the runnable interface. Okay, and this run method, okay, whatever we have seen in the previous example also, okay, this run method is actually present in runnable interface. Okay, this run method is present in the runnable interface. And what are we doing? Using the method of start, which is present in thread class, we are calling the run method, because the start method has an implicit call to the run method. Okay, so this are the two ways of creating a thread in your Java. Okay, now two ways we have. What? The first way is by extending thread class. Second way is by implementing runnable interface. Now if I am using the first way, okay, if I am using the first way, I am stuck with what? I am actually stuck with this thread class for the properties. Okay, now if I have extended thread class, I cannot extend this class to any other class. Okay, so I can't say now extends my thread to. Okay, I can't do this. Okay, this I cannot do. Okay, but if I am actually using this, okay, if I am using this implements runnable interface, I can actually extend any other class over here. Okay, I can do this, some other color, extends my thread to. Okay, I can do this very easily. Okay, because you can extend some another class and implement some runnable some interface at the same time, but you cannot extend one class to two different classes at the same time. Multiple inheritance is not supported in Java classes. Okay, multiple inheritance is not supported in Java classes, but it is supported in interfaces. So you can actually extend a class and implement a interface at the same time, but you cannot extend two classes at the same time. Understanding? This is the way of creating a thread. You have two ways, and the best way to create your thread is what? By implementing runnable interface. Okay, this is how it will be for you people. Okay, you can create your threads in these two ways, and the best way to create, the better way to create a thread is by implementing runnable interface. Okay, so this was multi-threading. Now what is a life cycle? Once, let's say you have created a thread. Okay, let's say you have created a thread. Now what is the life cycle of a thread? Okay, now your life cycle of a thread will actually be in four stages, four phases. Okay, there will be four phases of a thread, or four life methods or life stages of a thread. Okay, now what are these particular phases? First, this is called as start phase. Start phase or new phase. Okay, then here, uh, okay, then next phase, if you have to see, it is the running phase. Okay, what is it? It is running phase. Then here there is one more phase, wait phase. Okay, wait phase. Then this is one phase called as stop or terminated. Okay, these are some stages of the life of a thread. Okay, now how will this process go from this thread go from one phase to another phase? Okay, very simple. Okay, it is very simple. First, whenever you create a new thread, okay, whenever you create a new thread, it will first be in the start phase. Okay, then it will either go to the running phase, or else it can also go to the wait phase. Okay, now what is this running phase and wait phase? How can the thread move from start to running and start to wait? Okay, it is in two cases. Okay, it will either move to running only if whatever resources are required for the execution of thread, okay, if the resources are made available, then it will go to the running phase. But let's say you are starting the thread, but the resources for that thread are not available. Then it will go to the wait state. Now, what resources? Like your processor. If the processor is not available, the stack is not available, memory is not available. All these resources, if it is not available, then it will go to the wait state. Or else, if it the resources are available, then it will go to the running state. Now, what if it goes to wait state? Okay, it is waiting. The moment it will get the resources, it will move to the running state. From wait state, it will move to the running state. Okay, now in any condition, your thread cannot go from running back to the start, or from wait back to the start. It can never go back. Okay, now let's say it is in running state. Okay, it is in running state. For an example, it was taken, the resources that were given to that thread were now taken back for some reason. Okay, there was some another thread which was of higher priority, it needed those resources, so it was taken away from this particular thread. So this thread will now go to the wait state. Okay, so if the thread was running and the resources were taken away from that thread, then from running state it will go to the wait state. Now, from running state, if the resources are taken away, then it is going to the wait state. Or else, if the resources were not taken away and the thread completed its execution, okay, and the thread completed its execution, then it will move to the stop or terminated state. Okay, and it can never go back from stop to running. It can never go back. Okay, so now from wait state, if your thread has been not given the resources and it is waiting, and it did not get the resources for a long time, then it will be terminated. Okay, and again from terminated, your thread cannot go back to the wait state. Okay, so this is the life cycle of a thread. It is from start to running or start to wait, then wait to running or wait to terminated, or else running to wait, or else running to terminated. Okay, these are the phases of a thread's life cycle. Okay, and this is how it will move from one state to another state. All right, so this is your multi-threading, guys. Okay, this is your multi-threading. Now there are many methods present in this thread. Okay, now what all methods do we have over here? Let me tell you a few of them. Okay, now first method that we already saw is what? Start method. Yeah. First method that we saw was the start method. Then we saw run method. Then there is some method called as wait. Okay, if I say thread dot wait, then that particular thread will go to the wait state. Okay, then if I say notify, means if any thread is in waiting state. Okay, start means for from my start phase it will go. If I use this start method, it will go to the start phase or the new phase. If I am using the run method, it will go to the running state. Okay, then if I am using the wait method, then it will go to the wait state. Then if I am using this notify method, means whatever thread was in the wait state is now getting notified to resume its execution. Okay, notify, I'm notifying the waiting thread to start its execution once again. Okay, that is notify. Then there is notify all. Okay, there is notify all, means notify can actually call only one thread from the wait state to running state. But notify all, what will it do? Whatever threads are in waiting state, it will call all the threads and it will ask them to resume its execution. Okay, then there is one method called as sleep. Okay, one method called as sleep. All right. If you want the thread to wait for a specific time, okay, if you say wait, then unless and until that thread receives a notify call, it will not start its execution. But if I want the thread to wait for a specific amount of time, I don't want the thread to get a notify call and then resume its execution. I want that the thread should wait only, and once again it should start its execution on its own. It should not wait for the notify method. Okay, then I will use sleep method instead of the wait method. Now inside this sleep method, I can pass one argument, okay, integer argument, and it will be what? Okay, let's say if I am passing 1000, means 1000 milliseconds, means 1 second. So if I am using thread.sleep for some 1000 milliseconds, means what? That thread will pause its execution for 1 second and it will resume its execution after 1 second. If I am saying 5000, means it will pause its execution for 5 seconds and resume the execution after 5 seconds. So these are the few of the methods that we use in our multi-threading. Okay, now there are some components. Okay, let's say some properties of thread. Okay, some properties of thread like priority. Okay, and we have the getters and setters of for this particular thing, that is get priority, and we have the setter set priority. Okay, same way. One more property is name. For that also we have get name and we have set name. Okay, now name, simple, you can understand. If I want to give the name for a thread, I can simply use these methods. Now what about this priority? Now this priority is actually from the range 1 to 10. Okay, with 10 being the least priority and 1 being the highest priority. 1 is the highest priority, 10 is the least priority. So let's say I have some threads. Okay, I have thread A, then I have thread B, C, D. Okay, then the priority of my thread A is 8. The priority of my thread B is 4. The priority of my thread C is 2. And the priority of my thread D is 9. Okay. Now tell me which thread will get executed first. What will be the order of execution? Okay. So C thread will get executed first. Mayuresh is saying. Which thread will get executed second? Correct, Priyanka. CBAD. The order of my execution will become what? It will be CBAD. Means my C thread will execute first. Because why? It is having the least number. Means it is having the higher priority than other threads. Then B, 4. It will get executed. Then A, 8. It will get executed. Then D, 9. It will get executed. This will be the order of execution for my threads if I am setting the priority. Okay, this is how the priority feature works. This is one of the property of a thread. Okay, so guys, this is multi-threading. Okay, this is what multi-threading. We all saw what from multi-task is made up of multiple processes, and performing multiple tasks at a time is multitasking. Then one process is made up of multiple threads, or it is just one part of a task. Then executing or performing multiple processes at a time is called as multi-processing. Okay, we have seen this. If it is a process, the smallest unit of a process will be called as a thread, and thread is what? It is the smallest unit of a process or lightweight process. And performing or executing multiple threads at a time is called as multi-threading. Now what is thread in Java? It is a special class. Okay, now I can create this particular thread in two ways, with the help of extends thread or with the help of implements runnable. Okay, in these two ways I can create it. Now what is the better way? It is by implementing runnable interface, because if I am extending with the thread class, I don't have the option to extend any other class to this class. Okay, I will be stuck with the properties of thread class only. But if I am implementing one runnable interface, then I have the option of extending some another class to this class. Okay, so I will not be stuck with any other class. Okay, I have the freedom to extend my class to any other class also. Because why? In Java, multiple inheritance is not allowed. Okay, and that is why I cannot extend one class to two different class at the same time. Okay, so we saw the example. If I'm extending my thread class in the main class, what I have to do? I have to create the object of my thread class and use start method. Simply it will call the run method from my thread class. Okay, then if I am using the second way of creating the thread, then what will happen? I have to mandatorily override this run method. Okay, it is compulsory for me to override this run method. Then in this case, after creating the object of my thread class, I have to create the object of thread class also, and the object of my thread class will be given as the argument to the constructor of thread class. Why? Because here I need to tell this thread class that, boss, you have to behave like my thread class. Okay, you have to leave your own behavior and you have to behave like my thread class. Okay, you have to take the behavior of my thread class. Okay, then if I'm using this start method, it will call the run method from my thread class. Okay, this is the only difference between these two ways. Okay, and then we saw the life cycle of our thread. Okay, it moves from start state to running or wait, from running to wait or stop, from wait to running or stop. Okay, but it can never go back from running to start or wait to start, or else it can never go back from stop to running or stop to wait. These are the phases of our multi-threading. Okay, the threads life cycle is in these four phases. Okay, people got a basic idea at least about multi-threading. थोड़ा बहुत idea आ गया? Okay, okay. Good, good. Now what we'll do, I'll give you a break for 5 minutes. Okay, go get fresh for 5 minutes. Then we will continue with the JDBC topic. Okay, now what is life cycle of thread? How to answer? Mayuresh, I have told you. Okay, life cycle of a thread means what? The methods or the states of a thread once it starts till it finishes its execution. Okay, once the thread is starting, okay, its execution till the time it end its execution, that is the life cycle of a thread. Okay, right from the birth of the thread till the destruction of the thread, that will be one life cycle of the thread. Okay, so guys, take 5 minutes of break. All right, I will also come back, you also come back in 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'll directly start with the next concept. So take a break of just 5 minutes and then we will start our next topic, that is JDBC. Okay, and till then, if someone wants to write about all these things, you can write also. Not a problem. All right, I will start once again in 5 minutes. Okay, don't leave the meeting, just stay here itself, just come back, get fresh and come back in 5 minutes. Okay, guys, shall we start? Is everyone back? Okay. I want the response from everyone. Is everyone back? I can see many names in red. Okay, let me show you one time, people. Okay, let me just show you one time. How am I going to monitor the attendance? Okay, if you see over here, all the names in the red. Okay, I have already given the message in the group. Okay, all the message, this names in red means these people are not connected to the meeting right now. Okay, I will be monitoring this till the end. Okay, those whose names are in red, those people have not actively participated in the grooming, and I will make sure those people will have the respective consequences of this. Okay, because you people go to the interviews and you say shit over there. Okay, you speak all rubbish things, you don't know the concepts, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, so means they have not connected to the meeting right now. Okay, if they are your friends, any of them, please call them and ask them to join immediately. Sorry guys, I was on mute. All right. So Java database connectivity, and it is nothing but, just like the name suggests, it is the connectivity or the connection between our Java application and the database. Okay, 1 second, guys. Hold on. All right. So now what is this connection between our Java application and the database? All right. Let us understand with an example. Okay. Let us understand with an example. Now, there is this one guy. There is this one guy. Okay. He actually speaks. Okay. There are two people. Okay. One person is speaking, let's say, Kannada. Okay, this person speaks Kannada, and this person speaks what? Telugu. Now we have to establish communication between these two people. Okay, this person needs to talk. Okay, Bhavesh, Marathi. Oh, you speak in Marathi, no? Okay, so this person A, okay, is speaking Kannada. The person B is speaking in Telugu. Now, if these two people want to communicate with each other, okay, if they want to communicate with each other, can they actually communicate with each other? This person will talk in Kannada. Okay, he will not understand. This B person will talk in Telugu. A will not understand. Then what we have to do in this case? What we have to do here is we need one mediator. Okay, we need one translator. Just like these guys, we need one more person. Okay, one more person we need who will be able to understand both. Okay, now this will be the mediator for these people. For these two, this person will be the mediator or translator. Okay, translator. Now what this translator knows, this translator knows both Kannada also and Telugu also. Okay, now whatever this A tells in Telugu, sorry, Kannada, whatever this A tells in Kannada, he will translate it to Telugu and tell it to person B. Now, whatever this person B tells in Telugu, he will translate it to Kannada and he will tell it to person A. Okay, so now there is a clear communication between these two people with the help of whom? With the help of this mediator. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, so now he is helping these two people to communicate. Just like that, when we are having two different entities, now two different entities means what? In one place we have our Java application. Okay, in one place we have our Java application. Now Java application understands which language, people? Java application understands which language? Java, obviously, correct. So our Java application understands Java language, but the database, okay, the database, how do we represent the database? Like this. Okay, we represent the database like this, and yes, J2EE people, today you will be answering very nicely. What does it understand? It understands SQL, means query language. Yes. So this is our database. The bottom of the database is a little problematic. Please adjust. Okay. Now this understands what? It understands, our database understands only the query language. Okay. Now if this particular Java application has to be connected, what is JDBC? It is the connection between Java and a database. Okay. Now this particular person, this Java application will not be able to understand query language, and this database will not be able to understand Java language. Then what to do? Okay, in this case we have to bring in one mediator. Okay, we have to bring in one mediator, and that mediator will be none other than our JDBC. Okay, now what will this JDBC do? Okay, as the translator, okay, as the translator understood both Kannada and Telugu, in the same way this JDBC will also understand both the Java language and the query language. So whatever this Java application will give it to the JDBC in Java language, this JDBC will convert it to query language and it will give it to the database. Now the database will also give some result. Whatever query language the database will give, it will convert it to Java language and give it to the JDBC, that is, sorry, the Java application, and that is what is the role of JDBC. Okay, it will convert Java language to query language and query language to Java language, because it understands both Java as well as query language, and that is how it will establish the communication between Java application and the database. Now people, why do we need this JDBC? Okay, why do we in the first place, why do we need to establish a connection between our Java application and the database? Okay, imagine if I am using some application like Facebook. Okay, I'm using some application like Facebook. Then what will happen? I will create the account. Okay, in one session I will create the account. I will log into my account. Now I will create the account with the help of some username and password. I will log in with those username and password. Once I log out, okay, once I log out means my session is over. But if my application is not connected to database, okay, if my application is not connected to database, what will happen? Will the details, my username and password, will they be stored anywhere? If the Facebook application is not connected to database, will my details, username and password, be stored anywhere? No, my details will not be stored anywhere. Correct? And if I am not storing my details, what will happen? When in the next time I want to log into my Facebook account, can I use the same details once again? Tell me, can I use it once again? The same details, username and password? Others, are you dead? Others are dead or what? Yes, dead. Should I send four people for your home to pick you up? Act as if you're alive, please. Don't behave like dead bodies. Okay, so if I am not storing that data, I cannot use it once again. I cannot use the same data once again. So if I want to use, means what will happen? I have to once more create the account, once more log in, then I will be able to use my Facebook account. So if I am not storing my details, every time I want to use Facebook, I will have to create the account, log in, use the account. Once I log out, my details will be gone. Once again, if I have to use means, once again log in, once again create account, log in, use. So this is not feasible. Whenever we will be using some real-time applications, we need to store the data for future usages. Okay, to use the data in the future for the same application, we need to store it. And where are we going to store it? We are going to store it in the database. And when can we store it in the database? When the Java application is actually connected to the database. Okay, and how will I connect my Java application with the database? With the help of JDBC. Okay, with the help of JDBC. That is the only technology in the entire world. Okay, JDBC is the only technology in the entire world that is actually capable of connecting Java application to the database. There is no other technology in the entire world which is capable of doing this. Okay, no other technology. Please keep that in mind. Now, okay, now to write this JDBC program, okay, what happens? The entire JDBC logic, okay, the entire JDBC logic is written inside the Java application. Okay, entire JDBC logic will be written inside the Java application. So if this is my Java application, okay, my JDBC logic will be written inside the Java application only. Okay, this is the scenario. So JDBC logic is inside the Java application, but my database is not inside the Java application. Yes or no? It is not inside the Java application. So how will we connect this if JDBC itself is present in the Java application? Then how do I actually connect? Okay, how do I actually connect it to the database? Okay, there is one simple logic. Okay, what happens here? The JDBC, okay, the JDBC will appoint one driver. It will appoint one driver. Now this driver is responsible for communicating with the database. Okay, this driver is responsible for communicating with the database. Now, just like this driver is communicating, so I need to load this driver also. I need to appoint one driver, okay, which will be responsible to establish, to take the data from JDBC to database and database to JDBC. So it will actually be in both direction. Okay, this driver will go from JDBC to database and database to JDBC. Okay, this is the responsibility of whom? Of the driver. Now there are some steps of writing a JDBC program. What are these steps? Let us discuss. Okay, there are 5 steps of JDBC. Steps to write a JDBC program. Okay, steps to write a JDBC program. First step, load the driver. Okay, load the driver. And what is this driver? It is a class. So we have to load the driver class. Then second thing, okay, second thing is to open the connection. Means after I have told this driver that okay, I have loaded this driver, now I have to tell this driver, right? Once I have, okay, I have appointed one driver, boss, you have to go take my data to the database. But which database? Okay, where is the database located? I need to give the address of my database to the driver. Okay, for an example, okay, if I tell you, Okay, go to so and so place. You will ask me, sir, okay, fine, I have to go to this place, but where is this place? Okay, please give me the address of this place. Once I give you the address, now you can do what? Okay, you can put that address in the Google Maps and it will show you the entire path to that address. Correct? So that will be the connection between the driver and the database. The entire path, okay, from the Java application till the database, whatever the path that driver has to follow, that is the connection. Okay, so I will tell the location of my database to the driver, then the connection will be opened. Once the connection is opened, then I can prepare, or let's say create statement. Statement means my queries. Okay, now I will create these queries in my Java application and I will send these queries to the database. Once the query is executed, okay, my driver took this query, this statement from Java application to the database and it gave it to the database. Now what will this database do? It will take the query, it will execute it. Okay, it will execute the query, but after executing, this database will give me some output after executing some query. Yes or no? Now this output, the driver will take this output and it will go back to the JDBC application. Boss, see, you gave me this statement, you gave me this query, I took that query to the database. Now that database executed that query and that database gave me some result. Please take this JDBC, I got this result from database, please take this. Now this JDBC needs to process the result that it has received from the database. Okay, so the fourth step is what? To process the result. Now the query has been executed, the result has been processed, the operation has been completed. Now if the operation has been completed, I need to close the connection. Okay, whatever connection I had opened from my Java application to the database, now I need to close that connection. And how will I close that connection? Sorry, why will I close that connection? Because if I keep that connection open, okay, there is a chance of data leakage. Data leakage means what? Someone else might, yes, Pushparaj, for security purposes, I have to close this connection. But why exactly? What security? It is to avoid the data leakage. Data leakage means what? If the connection is open, someone else might come, he might write some query and he might access my database. Okay, some other person who is not supposed to access my database, he will also have the access to my database if the connection between my database and the Java application is open. He might use my Java application and have the illegal access to my database. Okay, so I don't want this illegal access to my database. Okay, and that is why I will close the connection. Okay, every time I'm done doing the operation, I will close the connection with the database so that no one should illegally access my database. Okay, so these are the 5 steps of JDBC. Very, very simple. Load the driver class, open the connection, prepare or create the statement, process the result, and close the connection. These are the 5 steps of JDBC. Okay, now there are many classes, many. Process the result once again, please. Okay, Shiv Shankar. All right, no worries. See, whenever the third step is what? To prepare or create the statement, means to prepare some query. Okay, I will prepare one query in my JDBC application, that is the Java application. Now the driver class will take this query from my Java application to the database. Now what will this database do? It will take the query, it will execute it. After executing a query, we get some output. Now this output, this database will give this output to the driver class. Now, what is the responsibility of driver class? To take the things from JDBC to database and database to JDBC. So it took the query from JDBC to database. Database executed the query, gave it the result. Now this driver class has the result. He will go to the JDBC. Okay, boss, I got this result from the database. Please take it. Okay, now this database result is in the form of query language. Now what we have to do, Java application does not understand query language. So what it will do, it will process the query language and it will convert it to Java language. And then we can get the expected output in our Java application. Okay, so these two steps, the driver class is responsible for this. To prepare the statement means take the statement to the database and bring the result from the database. These are these two steps: prepare, create statement, and process result. Understood, Shiv Shankar? Okay, fine. So people, there are many steps, many classes, interfaces involved in our JDBC program. Okay, now what you have to do, even if you answer this much in your interview, that is more than sufficient. Okay, even if you know this much, that why do we need to load the driver class? Because the JDBC is present in Java application. The driver is responsible to establish communication between database and JDBC logic. Okay, that is why we need to load the driver class. Then why do we need to open the connection? Because after loading the driver class, I need to tell this driver where is my database located. Okay, I need to give the path to my database. That is the open connection. Prepare statement, I have to process, I want to create some query in my Java application and I need to give it to the database. Okay, that is the third step. Process the result. After the query has been executed, the database will return some result, and that result is in the query language format. We have to convert it to the Java language, and that is nothing but processing the result. Then close the connection. Why do I need to close the connection? To prevent any illegal access to the database. Okay, this is what is the explanation of JDBC. Now there are many classes, many interfaces involved. Don't worry about it. Make sure that you understand this much and you read about this much only. If this much you can tell, it is sufficient. Understanding, people? Got a basic idea about JDBC? At least basic? Okay, okay. All right. So now there are some drawbacks. Now there are some drawbacks we will discuss about this JDBC. Okay, what are the drawbacks of JDBC? Drawbacks of JDBC. There are many drawbacks. Let's consider. First of the drawbacks is what? As a Java developer, okay, as a Java developer, I should be focusing on Java language, Java application only. But I am forced to write queries also. As a Java developer, I should not be writing queries, but in JDBC, I'm forced to write queries also. Okay, then I have to take care of database properties also. Okay, I have to take care of database properties also. Then my tables, my class from data, my Java is not, okay, not treated as table. Okay, it is not treated as table directly. Okay, then the properties of class not treated as columns. directly. Okay, then objects of class not treated as rows, yeah, rows directly. Means there is no direct connection between the class in my Java application and the table in my database. There is no direct connection between my properties of the class in the Java application and columns in my database. There is no direct connection between the objects of my class in the Java application and the rows of my database. There is no direct connection. Okay, I have to tell that boss, whenever I receive some table data, I have to convert it to my class objects. Okay, so that is what is one of the drawbacks of JDBC. Okay, first, I am forced to write the queries. Even if I'm a Java developer, I am forced to write queries, which should not be the case. Then I have to take care of all the database related properties, okay, which should again not be the case. Then class also is not directly treated as table. Properties are not directly treated as columns, and objects are not directly treated as rows. Okay, these are the drawbacks of my JDBC. Okay, so in order to overcome these drawbacks, okay, in order to overcome these drawbacks, there was one technology invented called as, yo, one second, there was one technology invented called as ORM. Okay, ORM. ORM stands for, one second guys, it stands for object relational mapping. Okay, ORM stands for what? Object relational mapping. Now simple, what does this JDBC say? JDBC is Java database connectivity, connection between Java application and database application. What is the full form of this ORM? Object relational mapping means direct mapping, means direct relation between your relational and object. Now what is object? Object is nothing but the unit of class. Okay, object is in your Java application. Relational means relational database. Okay, so this is directly mapping your Java objects to the relational database. Yes, it is overcoming the drawbacks of JDBC. How? Okay, now what is this ORM? It is just a technology, but what is the tool that is implementing this technology? It is nothing but our Hibernate. Okay, Hibernate is the technology, sorry, the tool that is implementing ORM. Okay, so Hibernate tool is based on ORM technology only. Okay, not iBatic, Sandeep, it is iBatis. Okay, so now what are the advantages of this Hibernate? Simple. Okay, we don't have to write any queries. Okay, we don't have to write any queries anymore. Queries not required. Why not required? Are written, queries are directly written by Hibernate itself. Okay, Hibernate will only write the queries. Okay, Hibernate will manage the database properties. Okay, classes, class in Java is treated as table in database. Okay, properties of class are treated as columns of table. Yo, 1 second. As columns of table. Then objects of class are treated as rows of table directly. Okay, now first thing, we don't need to write the queries. The Hibernate itself will write all the queries, but Hibernate will manage the database properties also. Then it will treat whatever class I have in my Java application, it will directly treat it as a table in my database. Whatever properties I have for my class will directly be treated as the columns of the table, and whatever objects I create for my class will be treated as the rows of the table. Okay, now this is what is the advantage of Hibernate over JDBC. Okay, but internally it is based on what? Object relational mapping. But I told you, now here also I am establishing connection between my Java and database only. So I told you before some time that JDBC is the only application which is capable of interacting between Java application and database. Okay, JDBC is the only technology. Then how come this Hibernate is doing the same thing? Hibernate is a ORM technology, but ORM is based on JDBC as the framework. Okay, ORM uses JDBC as the framework. So internally it is also implementing JDBC only. All right, there is no other technology which can communicate between Java application and database. Okay, so Hibernate is one kind of tool which implements object relational mapping technology, ORM technology, and ORM technology is based on JDBC only. Okay, understood, people? A basic idea at least. Okay, all right. So now the time is 2:50. Okay, the time is 2:50. We will start with the next topic. Okay, the next topic we will see is our this servlet and JSP. Okay, servlet and JSP is the next topic that we will see. What we will do, we will take the break of 10 minutes. So we will start sharp at 3 o'clock. Okay, so make sure you're back by 3 p.m. I will start immediately at 3 p.m. And remember, I am going to monitor the attendance till the end. Okay, I'll be checking your attendance till the end. All right, so people, please, even if you're not replying to my questions, I will consider you as absent. Okay, so there are many students who are not replying to my answers. I will just show you the names right now. Okay, so if you can see these people who are not messaging anything, even if their names are in white color, I will not consider your attendance. Okay, everyone, those who are not replying, I will not consider your attendance. So if you want your attendance to be considered, please reply for my questions in the grooming. Okay, because tomorrow you will see what actions will be taken against you. Okay, if you are not active in the grooming. Okay, fine, people, come back by 3 p.m. We will start with the next topic, that is servlet and JSP. Okay, so three topics we have seen: multi-threading, JDBC, and Hibernate. We will start at 3 p.m. with our servlet and JSP. Okay, be back, guys, at 3 p.m. sharp.
she pleased with design. Coming around to me, them gyal a roll out them eyes. Every man you love, she get it good from she rise. But put it on so good and make she shake off she ties. Smile upon her face, me know she pleased with design. Coming around to me, them gyal a roll out them eyes.
ये उसका टॉप देख कितना गंदा है।
थोड़ा धीरे बोलना।
मैं बहुत जोर से बात करती हूँ क्या?
मैं इतना थोड़ी जोर से बात करती है यार। आदित्य,
अरे क्या? अरे धीरे बोलना, धीरे बोल।
एक पानी का बोतल लाना।
धीरे बोल, धीरे बोल, धीरे बोल।
हेलो।
गोविंद ने तो हो जाओ।
Gas is approaching your position. Get to the safe zone. Primary objective is to eliminate all enemies. Attack! Gas moving in. Bounty target has been marked. End them.
Taking the wheel.
Brilliant.
Nick, more of them.
Hang on.
Oh, Christ.
Get out of the way!
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Careful. Dick, it's that goddamn truck again.
Look out!
Please don't run anyone over.
Sorry!
God damn it. We gotta shake that truck.
Working on it.
Long.
You can watch it again. Hang on!
Where the hell are you going?
You're the one who said just head down!
Gee.
Coming through!
Oh, this was really a great idea, Nate.
Do you want to drive?
No, you're doing just fine.
See? I got it. Ah, crap. These guys don't give up. Okay, through here.
Whoa, stop, stop, stop!
Stick shift.
Come on, get out of here.
Okay.
Go!
I'm just gonna cut through here. What am I supposed to do now?
Hey, just there.
Here we go.
Whoa! No!
Man, Rafe really wants us out of the picture.
Gee, you think?
I think we lost him.
Hey, Nate,
Yeah?
we can never, ever come back to this city.
Add it to the list.
Ah. Whoa, 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 watch it!
Really?
You got a 4x4, go around. Sam's tower's at the bottom of this hill. Keep going down.
All right. Let's see that truck get past that. Oh, come on!
Cut right! Cut right! Wait!
Don't worry, I got this. I got this! I don't got this!
Holy shit!
We're close. Keep an eye out for Sam.
Hey, I think that's him. Right there.
Hold on!
What do you think I've been doing?
How do we get to him?
Damned if I know. Just keep following that convoy. Man, you think they sent enough goons after us?
Well, we're still alive, so maybe not.
There they are.
You see anybody get to Sam?
Not yet. We're running out of road, kid.
I know.
Nate. Nate!
Here, take the wheel.
What? Be out of your goddamn mind?
Yeah, probably. Oh, crap! Coming through! Christ! Hi there! My turn!
Okay, guys, am I audible? Shall we start? Everyone is alive. Other dead bodies. Okay. All right, guys. So we saw, let me just present only the paint. All right. So we saw three topics as of now. We will see the fourth topic now. That is the servlet and JSP. Okay. Now, what is our next topic? It is servlet or else servlets and JSP. Okay, now what is this servlets and JSP? Let us start with servlets first. Okay, let us first start with servlets. Now, imagine you are using some web application. Okay, you're using some web application. Yo, all right. So there will be this computer. You will have this computer over here. Yes. Now inside this computer, you will use one application, and that application will be what? Your browser. Okay, you will use a browser. Now inside this browser, you will get one link. Okay, you will get one address bar, correct, where you will actually type whatever you need. Okay, you will type few things over here like www.google.com. Okay, sorry, you will type what? www.google.com. Where are you typing this? You are on browser application. Now your browser application is present where? In your computer or your laptop, means in your system, where you are actually going to use the application. Or else instead of this google.com, let us forget this google.com, let us see something called as facebook.com. Okay, www.facebook.com. Okay, you are using facebook.com over here. Now you are called as the client. Okay, you are actually called as the client. This application is the client side application. Okay, you are using the client side application. But is the Facebook database, once you open facebook.com, you will get the login page, and you will enter your username, password, everything. But this username and password is what? Your data. Now this data is stored in where? In the Facebook database. Correct, it is stored in the Facebook database. Now is the Facebook database present in your computer or the Facebook application? Okay, the program for the Facebook application, is it present in your own laptop? Tell me. फेसबुक एप्लीकेशन का प्रोग्राम तुम्हारे लैपटॉप में है क्या? नो, it is not in your laptop, it is not in your system. Then where is it? Okay, if you are the client means you are the user of the application, and you are using the client side application, that is only the front end. Yes, Samadhan, it is in the server, very correct. Okay, so it is actually in the Facebook server. Yes, exactly, it is actually present where? It is present in the Facebook server. Okay, so the server side application. Okay, this is what? It is the server side. So there are two sides to an application. One is the server side application, one is the, one second, give me 1 minute. So there are two sides to an application. One is client side, one is the server side. Okay, now whatever the project is present, the entire application logic is present, it is present in the server side, and whatever you are seeing in the client side. Now which page has to be displayed? Okay, when you type this facebook.com, there has to be some logic. Okay, there has to be some logic which will give you the login page. Okay, which will give you the login page in a way. Okay, in a way, with the help of this particular link, this URL, you are actually sending a request to the Facebook server. Okay, you're sending a request to the Facebook server. What you're sending? One request. And as it is a request made through internet, now to access this facebook.com, you will have to use internet. So that request is called as a web request. Okay, now after you send this request to the server side, there is one technology, okay, in this server called as servlets. Okay, there can be multiple servlets. So there is one technology called as servlets. Now this servlets are actually responsible for what? Okay, these servlets are responsible to accept the web request. Okay, these servlets are responsible to accept this web request. Let me move this entire thing down. Okay, so this servlets are actually responsible to accept the web request that has been sent from the client to the server. And once the request is accepted, these servlets will generate one response. Okay, they will generate one response and they will give it to the client side application. Okay, they will generate one response. Now as this response will be sent through internet, okay, that is why it is called as web response. And who is actually responsible to handle, to accept this web request and give the web response? Your servlet. Your servlet is responsible for accepting the web request and generating the web response. Okay, so how do we define this particular servlets now? Okay, servlet. Okay, it is the only technology. Ayo. It is the only technology which can accept, in second, which can accept web request and generate web response. Okay, now it is the only technology. Servlet is responsible to accept web request and generate web response. Same way. Okay, same way. How can you define your browser? Browser, it is the only application. Only application. Ayo, give me 1 minute. It is the only application which can generate. Okay, this time it is generate. What will it generate? It will generate the web request. Okay, so browser will generate the web request and servlet will accept the web request. Then servlet will generate the web response and browser will accept the web response. Okay, so these are the two things, web request and web response. So whenever you type some URL, you are sending the request to the server, and inside the server there is one technology or a component called as servlet which is responsible to accept your web request. Okay, now it will analyze the web request. Okay, it will analyze the web request, and according to the request it will generate one response. Okay, so let's say if you have not logged into facebook.com, if you type facebook.com on your browser, what will happen? It will go to the servlet. The request will go to the Facebook server. Inside the Facebook server there will be one component responsible for this web request, that is servlet. It will understand, okay, the user has not logged in. Okay, so I should give this user the login page. Okay, so that is the response. What page has to be given back is the response. Okay, see here, you will log in. Okay, you will type, sorry, facebook.com. It will go to the Facebook server. It will analyze your request. Okay, it will see have you logged in or not. If you have not logged in, this servlet will give you the login page. Okay, that is a response. And where is that response showed? On your browser. Means your browser is sending the web request and it is accepting the web response, but your servlet, it is accepting the web request and sending the web response. Okay, so this is the two things. Okay, the statements are almost similar. The only difference is you have to notice here servlet will accept a web request, but browser will actually generate the web request. Here servlet will generate the web request, but browser will actually accept the web request. Okay, so this is the difference. Now if you have already logged in and if you type www.facebook.com, the servlet will get to know, okay boss, this particular user has already logged in. Now he is requesting something. Let's not give the login page, let's give the home page for this user as the response to his request. Okay, and this is called as request response cycle. Okay, it is request response cycle. Now just like jdbc is only technology which is able to communicate between your java application and database. Same way servlet is the only technology which can accept web request and it can generate web response. Only technology. Okay, and browser is the only application which can generate web request and accept web response. Okay, so these are the technologies. But now when you actually use application, okay, Facebook application bhi hota hai. Yes, in your phones you have Facebook applications also. Yes or no, people? Okay, yes. So at that time, tell me, are you actually sending any request to the Facebook server for your data? No, you will not be sending any request to the Facebook server for your data, because because what is happening? Your Facebook application is partially installed on your phone. Means whatever your data related to Facebook is present inside your phone itself. Okay, it is not just in the Facebook server, it is in your phone itself. Okay, so not every time you will be sending the request to the Facebook server. All right, so your data is present. Now if you see in your settings, storage, your Facebook has some application data. Okay, what is that data? That cache data, whatever it has got from the server, it is partially stored on your app, in your application, as your application data. So if the application is installed on your phone, your data is already there inside that application. But this is not a web application, it is a mobile application. But this web request and web response is a part of web application. So what is the web application? When you actually use Facebook on your laptop or computer through the browser, that is when you are actually using the web application. Okay, so that is the difference. And in web application there will always be web request and web response. Okay, this is your servlet. Okay, now when do we use servlet? First of all, let me tell you the hierarchy of servlet. Okay, let's say what is a servlet in Java? It is nothing but a special Java class. Remember our thread. Okay, thread was what? It was a special Java class. Now, same way, this servlet also is a special Java class. Now, let me first explain you the hierarchy of our servlets. Okay, for an example, if I have like my thread, I have my servlet class. Okay, I have like my thread, I have my servlet class. Then I will have one more. Okay, that is HTTP servlet class. This is also a class. Okay, now one more will be there. Okay, one more will be there, generic servlet. Okay, one more, what is it? It is generic servlet. Let me move it a little bit. Okay, then two more will be there. Okay, two more will be there. What are these two? It is servlet and one will be servlet config. Okay, now all these are Java classes and interfaces. Now this is what? Okay, these are predefined. Okay, these are predefined Java classes and interfaces, but this thing is actually user created. Okay, created by user. Now this is also a class. Okay, my servlet is also a class. Let me do one thing. Let me remove this. Okay, these two things, let me remove like this. Let me change, use some other color over here. Okay, so servlet and one more is there, servlet config. Now whatever is in green, okay, whatever is in green is actually class. Okay, it is actually class. Now whatever is in blue is the interface. Okay, now this blue color entities are actually the interface. Now what will be the relationship between here? Okay, if I am relating my class to another class, it will extend it. Okay, this is HTTP servlet is also a class, generic servlet is also a class. What will be the relation? Extends. HTTP servlet extends generic servlet. Now on the other hand, if there is one class and one interface, then what will be the connection? It will implement the interface. I hope you know that the dotted line indicates implement and the solid line indicates extends. Okay, so this is the hierarchy. Okay, this is the hierarchy. What is the hierarchy? My servlet, which is the user created class, will extend HTTP servlet. HTTP servlet internally extends generic servlet, and generic servlet internally implements servlet and servlet config. Okay, so this is the hierarchy of servlets in our Java. Now instead of, when you actually create this my servlet class, instead of extending it to HTTP servlet, you can directly extend it to generic servlet also. So this is your first way of creating your servlet, and this is your second way of creating the servlet. Okay, both ways are similar, there is no difference between both the ways, but which one is actually useful, which one is not useful, there is nothing like that. Both the ways are same, but the only difference is, okay, if you are creating it in the first way. Okay, now we saw there are two ways. You can either extend your class to HTTP servlet, or else you can extend your class to generic servlet. Now, what will happen if you use the first way? Means if you extend it with the HTTP servlet class. Okay, if you are using the first way of creating servlet, okay, it will be a it will be a protocol dependent servlet. Okay, and if you are creating in the second way, it will be a protocol independent servlet. Okay, now what is this protocol dependent and protocol independent? What is the full form of HTTP? Tell me quickly, people. What is the full form of HTTP? Yes. Other dead bodies? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I want the answer from everyone. Yes, correct. Correct, 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 correct. Yes, it stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, it stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Means what? If you are extending your servlet to the HTTP servlet, means it is actually depending on what? HTTP protocol. Okay, that is why you will be creating a protocol dependent servlet in the first way. Ah, हो गया my dear dead bodies. Yes, done. I know you are alive. Okay, fine. So this first way, what is happening? You are actually creating a protocol dependent servlet. Okay, you are creating a protocol dependent servlet. But in the second case, okay, in the second case, when you are directly extending it to generic servlet class, you are actually, is there any in this generic servlet, can you see any protocol mentioned in this name? No, there is no protocol mentioned in this generic servlet wala name. So you are actually creating what? Protocol independent servlet. Okay, so this is the only difference. Now what is this protocol dependent and independent servlet? Now as you will be sending this web request, yes or no, now this you can send in two ways. Okay, you can type like this also, http colon, then you can say www.facebook.com. Yes or no, you can type it in this way or no? Yes, so this will be what? Your first way of creation. If you are creating your servlet in protocol dependent fashion, then this will be the request. But if you are creating a generic servlet, sorry, you are creating a protocol independent servlet, this will be only www.facebook.com. There will be no protocol in the request. There will be directly www.facebook.com. This is the only difference in these two cases. Okay, this is the only difference between these two cases. Understanding what will be the difference between creation? If I'm creating protocol dependent, then this HTTPS protocol or HTTP protocol will be assigned with the web request. If I am not creating the protocol dependent, means the second way, then the protocol will not be applicable in the web request. Okay, so these are the two ways of creating servlet. Now let us discuss the life cycle of servlet. Like we had 4 states in our multi-threading, the threads life cycle, we had 4 states. Now in our life cycle of servlet, we have only 3 states. Okay, what are those 3 states? Those are also resembled by methods. Okay, like start method resembled the start or new state. Then the run method resembled the running state. The wait method resembled the wait state. Sleep also resembled the wait state only. And if after the execution, the termination state was ending. That means the execution has been completed. Same way, servlet also has some methods which will indicate their life cycle. Okay, so there is one method called as init. Okay, there is one method called as init. Okay, then there is one method called as service. Okay, method called as service. Then there is one method called as destroy. Okay, so these are the three methods that are responsible to indicate the life cycle states of an servlet. So what does this init indicates? Means your thread has been initialized. Okay, that then what does this service indicate? Means your servlet is executing. Okay, and what does this destroy indicates? It indicates that your thread has been completed its execution and it has been terminated. Okay, it has been terminated. This is what this life cycle states indicate. Now from here, okay, from init it can move to the service state. Okay, from init it can move to the service state. From service it can move to the destroy state. Now in one life cycle of a servlet, in one life cycle of a servlet, the init method, okay, the init method will be called only one time. Okay, your destroy method, it will also be called only one time. Okay, now imagine life cycle of a human. Okay, life cycle of a human will, the starting initialization phase of a human can be considered the birth of the human. Okay, the destroy phase of the human's life cycle can be considered as the death of the human. Now tell me, in one lifespan, in one lifetime, can you be born more than one time? No. Can you die more than one time? No. So you can only born one time and you can only die one time. Okay, same with the servlet also. And service, okay, service, what is service? Means the working of the servlet. Okay, how many times the servlet can execute. Imagine now you're working. Okay, how many times you can work in a lifetime? As many times as you want, n number of times. Yes or no? Means yes, many times, multiple times you can work. Same way, this service method also, it can be called n times. Okay, it can be called n times. Means inside, in one life cycle of a thread, the init method will be called only once. The service method can be called n number of times, and the destroy method will also be called only once. Okay, once it has been destroyed, if I want to execute that servlet once again, I need to initialize the servlet once again, then I can call it for execution. Okay, so these are the life cycle methods of a servlet. What? Init, service, and destroy. Okay, now I will tell you two things regarding JDBC and servlet. Both are the only technologies responsible for their own job. Like JDBC is the only technology which can be used to communicate between Java application and database. But the JDBC technology has been deprecated. Deprecated means what? Let me write it for you over here. Okay, let me write it over here. Deprecated means it is outdated, yo, outdated or not in use. Okay, Deprecated means what? It is either outdated or else it is not in use. Then our JDBC also is deprecated, and servlet also is deprecated. Means what? It is either outdated or it is not in use. Then how are we still communicating with the database if the JDBC is outdated? Because we are using Hibernate, and Hibernate is an ORM tool. OR internally implements what? JDBC. So we are not directly using JDBC, but Hibernate is working on JDBC only, and we are using Hibernate. So we are not directly using JDBC. That is why JDBC has been deprecated, and we are implementing indirectly. We are implementing JDBC with the help of the Hibernate tool. Okay, same way servlet is the only technology which can accept web request and generate web response, but it has been deprecated. Okay, it has been deprecated means what? It is outdated or it is not in use. Now why was JDBC outdated? Because it had some drawbacks. Same way servlets also has some drawbacks. Now what drawbacks does this servlet have? Okay, now whenever you are writing or creating a servlet, what happens? To execute small amount of HTML code, okay, to execute small amount of HTML code, you have to write hell lot of Java logic. Okay, so if you have to display some small HTML content, you have to write lots and lots of Java logic. Now is it actually favorable? If I want to display the response on browser, it will be in the form of HTML. Now to display one line of HTML code, I need to write lots and lots of Java code. Is it actually favorable? Yes or no? Write down. Exactly. So it is actually not favorable to write lots and lots of Java code to implement one simple HTML code. So this is in the case of servlets. Okay. Why? Because I need to write lots and lots of Java code to implement one small HTML logic. But now it has been deprecated. Why? Because I got one new technology. Okay. Now I have one new technology where, ayo, where it is completely reverse. Okay, where it is completely reverse. Now if I want to display something on the browser, yeah, if I want to display something on the browser, it will be in the form of HTML. And if I want to write more of HTML, means more of HTML will be there and less of Java will be there. Means to write one JS, one app logic to display some content or display some information on the browser, I will focus on my HTML logic and not the Java logic. And this is possible with the technology that is called as JSP. Okay, it is called as what? JSP. Now JSP is the technology which is based on servlets only. Okay, internally JSP will implement servlets. Like Hibernate is internally implementing JDBC, same way JSP will internally implement servlets only. Okay, but isn't it more easy to write more of HTML than less than more of Java? Yes. Isn't it more favorable? Yes or no? Write down. To display content on my browser, is it favorable or not to write more HTML? Yes. Yes. Correct. Correct. So now this is possible with which technology? It is possible with the help of JSP technology. Okay, and what is JSP allowing me to do? Write more of HTML inside, more of HTML and less of Java. And now this Java will be inside HTML code. Like in servlets, we had HTML code inside Java. Like that, in JSP, we will have Java code inside HTML. Okay, inside a Java class, I was able to write HTML for servlets. Now in JSP, inside an HTML body, I will be able to use Java logic. Okay, this is the use of JSP. Okay, what is the use? It is JSP is used to include Java logic inside an HTML body. Now we can actually focus more on our HTML body rather than the Java logic. Okay, so that is why servlets are deprecated and JSP is now the running technology. Now, just like this service, init and destroy for servlet, we have some life cycle for JSP also. Okay, but there is one extra particular phase in case of JSP. Okay, now there is one method called as JSP destroy. Okay, then same way there is one method called as JSP service. Okay, same way there is one method called as JSP init. Okay, but there is one translation phase. Okay, there is one translation phase that has to be done before the JSP can go to the next methods. So as I told you, first it has to go from this translation phase, then ayo translation ho gaya wo, it is translation. Okay, spelling mistake is there, please don't mind. Okay, so now this is the flow. Now let me tell you once again, for here the init method also will be called one time in the entire life cycle. JSP destroy will also be called one time in the entire life cycle, and the translation phase also will happen only one time, but for the all life cycles. Okay, for all life cycles the translation will be happening only once, for all life cycles. Okay. Now, for all the life cycles, means even if there are 100 life cycles of a JSP page, okay, still there will be this translation phase that will be executed only one time. Which time? For the very first time. Now, what happens in this translation phase? As I told you, the JSP is actually based on servlets only, means it internally implements servlets only. It has to be translated. Okay, when I am creating a JSP, it has to be first translated to the servlet format. Okay, so will translated or convert into a servlet first. Now if you compare, the methods are similar, init, service and destroy. Same over here, init, service and destroy. Okay, but it is what? JSP init, JSP service and JSP destroy. So first it will undergo the translation phase, then inside one life cycle this JSP init method will be called only one time, JSP destroy method will be called only one time, and the JSP service method can be called n number of times. So now tell me people, which will be faster? Okay, which will be faster? Servlet will be faster or JSP will be faster? Guys, how many phases is servlet having? Servlet is having 3 phases in its life cycle. Okay, and JSP is having 4 phases in its life cycle. So tell me which will be faster? Servlet will be faster or JSP will be faster? Okay, some people are saying servlet, some people are saying JSP. Both are correct. Okay, both are correct. How come both are correct? Okay, for the first life cycle, the servlet has to go through only 3 phases. Okay, for the first life cycle, compare, there is one JSP and there is one servlet. Now this servlet, for both of them, there is the first life cycle. Okay, now the servlet has to go through only 3 phases. Okay, it has to go through only 3 phases, but for the first life cycle, JSP has to go through 4 phases. Okay, so in this first life cycle, actually servlet will be faster. Okay, because in the first life cycle, servlet has to go through 3 phases only, but JSP has to go through 4 phases. There is one extra phase. So that is the first phase where servlet will be faster and JSP will be slower. Now, after the first life cycle, we have the servlet format of the JSP. It has already been converted. For the in the first life cycle, it has already been translated from JSP to servlet. So I have the servlet format of JSP also. Now consider the second life cycle for the servlet and for the JSP. Okay, both of them now have to go through only three methods. Only 3 methods. And in this case, the JSP will be faster. Okay, so both of them are fast in one case. Okay, where if in the first life cycle, servlet will be faster than JSP, but second life cycle onwards, the JSP will be faster than the servlet. Understood, people? Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. So this was the servlet and JSP, and I haven't told you the long form of JSP. The full form of JSP is Jakarta Server Pages. Okay, what is the full form of JSP? It is Jakarta Server Pages. All right, it is not JavaScript pages or Java servlet pages or Java server pages. No, it is Jakarta Server Pages. All right, so this is the full form of JSP. So we saw what is servlet, what is JSP, what is servlet used for, what is browser used for, what are the life cycle of servlets, then what is the drawback of servlet, that there is HTML inside Java. So Java is more and HTML is less, but we want to focus on HTML. So we came up with the technology called as JSP. And in JSP, what is the advantage? That we actually write Java logic inside HTML logic, and this will be the efficient way of providing the request and response things. Okay, and we saw the life cycle of the JSP also, and the long form of JSP is what? Jakarta Server Pages. Okay, so got a fine idea, basic idea about servlet and JSP, people? Yes or no? All right, all right, all right. So Now we will look at one final concept. Okay, one final concept, that is the spring framework. Okay, let us discuss about the spring framework now. Now I will not be giving you entire grooming on this spring framework. Why? Because I don't want to confuse you people with this. Pushpraj, garbage, yes. Oh, garbage collector is also left. Okay, fine. All right, let me complete this spring framework, then I will go to the garbage collector. All right, thank you for reminding me, Pushpraj. Yes. During an technical aptitude, there was no option of Jakarta server pages. Then what were the options, Tejas? Java server pages. Was there anything else? Tell me the 4 options that were available with you. Okay, do one thing. You message me on Skype, Tejas. Okay, I'll answer you over there. All right, let's move on to the spring framework. Okay, let's move on to the spring framework. Now this spring framework, as you know by the name, framework is what? It is a set of predefined classes and interfaces, just like libraries. Okay, it is a predefined set of classes and interfaces, but it also provides you a structure, a project structure, okay, by default, so that you can build your project over that predefined structure. That is nothing but a framework. Now this spring framework actually comes with two starring features actually. So what are these features? First is IOC, that is inversion of control. Okay, and second one is dependency injection. Okay, second one is dependency injection. Now what are these features? Inversion of control means what? Now the programmer, while using spring framework, the programmer will not have the control over creating objects. Okay, the programmer will not have the control over creating the objects. Means how to create the objects, when to create the objects, when to destroy the objects. That is all taken care by the spring. Okay, now dependency injection. What is this dependency injection? You don't have to worry much about it. Just understand one statement, that inserting one object into another object is called as dependency injection. What? Injecting one object into another object is called as dependency injection. What is that? Don't worry about it. Okay, now this spring framework has 4 modules. Okay, 4 modules. These are what? These were the features. Okay, these were the features. Now what are the modules? Let us see the modules. All right, so the first module is spring core. Second module is spring MVC. The third module is spring rest, and the fourth module is spring boot. Okay, now what are these modules? Okay, spring core. Now just like Java, okay, just like Java, we have 2 things. What? Core Java and advanced Java. Now core Java means what? All the features of Java. Okay, whatever the features of Java are there, you learn in core Java. Okay, and in advanced Java, you simply apply the features of Java according to your requirement. Same way, spring core also is all about the features of Java. Now what are, sorry, features of spring. So what are the features of spring? there is nothing but IOC and dependency injection. So in Spring Core, it all revolves around these two features. Okay, what two features? The inversion of control and dependency injection. In Spring MVC, okay, now this Spring MVC, it actually stands for what? It stands for model, model view controller. Okay, MVC stands for model view controller. Now what is this model view controller? Don't worry, I'll tell you in brief. Okay, now Spring MVC is actually used to develop monolithic applications. Now monolithic applications means what? Which has both the front end and the back end in the same application. That is called as monolithic application. With the help of Spring MVC, you can create monolithic applications. So model means what is the logical part. View means what is the front end part. Model means back end. View means front end. And between this front end and back end, there is one person called as controller who is controlling the flow of your backend as well as your front end. Okay, so when some request is given, then which backend logic should be implemented and which front end page should be provided? Who is deciding that? This controller is deciding that. Okay, so controller is one very important component in your MVC. This component is only deciding which backend logic to be implemented and which front end page to be provided. Okay, this is the job of this controller. He is controlling all of that. Okay, then here after this there was a huge headache. What? Whenever a huge application had to be developed using Spring MVC, there was lots and lots of back-end code, lots and lots of front-end code. So this was actually a hectic job for developers. Okay, this was a hectic job for developers. Now the back-end developers decided what? Boss, we will develop only the back end. Okay, we will develop only the back end. We don't want to take care of the front end part. Okay, we don't want to take care of the front end part. Let the front end developers take the care of front end part. We will not be involved in it. Okay, so that is why there was one more module introduced for your backend development, that is Spring REST. And Spring REST is actually used to develop RESTful APIs. It is used to develop RESTful APIs. From here, okay, from Spring REST, the application was divided into two parts. The front end application was thrown out. Okay, the developers said what? No, we are going to take some rest. Okay, the developers said we are going to take some rest now. Actually, they are going to rest. They will develop only the back end logic. They will not take care of the front end logic. They will develop only back end. So there, here in this Spring REST module, they are only developing the back end part of the application. They are not worried about the front end. Okay, if they are not worried about the front end, what will you do? The data still has to be reflected on the front end only. So this back end application, from the end, it will throw one object to the front end application. Okay, whatever request is coming from the front end application, it will serve the request and give the front end one object. Le, ye tera data hai, in the form of object it will give. Now the front end will take this object, it will display the data. Okay, this is done using Spring REST. It is used to develop RESTful APIs. And this MVC, as I told you, is used to develop what? Monolithic applications. Okay, it is used to develop monolithic applications. Spring REST is used to develop RESTful APIs. And your Spring Boot is completely same to Spring REST, but there is one small issue. Okay, there is one small issue, that whenever you are actually using REST, Spring REST, you have to make use of servers. Okay, you have to install servers in your application, and it is actually a hectic job. Okay, maintaining the server, always taking care of the server, it is a hectic job. But in our Spring Boot, you will not be worried about the server or the server configuration, because in Spring Boot each project that you develop will have the embedded server. What will it have? It will have embedded server. So no more the developer said, what boss, maintaining the server, configuring the server is a huge task, we don't want to do it. So they came up with the technology Spring Boot, wherein you develop web services, and each project developed in Spring Boot will have a embedded server. Okay, now you don't need to configure the server, it will configure on its own, but it is completely same like Spring REST. Okay, so this was the short introduction about Spring framework. All right, I hope you got some basic idea. Don't worry guys, you remember these points, that Spring MVC is used to develop monolithic application. What is monolithic application? That is where the application contains both the front end and the back end. Spring REST is used to develop RESTful APIs, where you will only take care about the backend, and you will configure the server, and you will communicate with the front end application. And towards the front end application, as a response, you will give one object. Instead, in monolithic application, as a response, you are giving a view page. Okay, the front end part. But here in RESTful APIs, you will communicate with the front end application, and you will give a what, a object as the response. And in web services also you are doing the same thing, but you are getting one embedded server for your project. You don't have to configure the server. Got a basic idea, people? Okay, okay, fine, 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 fine. All right, so let us see the garbage collector point now. Okay, give me 1 minute guys, give me 1 minute. All right, so now the final concept, garbage collector. Okay, now why do you think that Java is called as excellent programming language in memory management? You know, I guess there is a feature, you know, about Java, that Java has efficient, very efficient memory management. That is one of the feature of Java, correct? It is because of the, yes, because of this garbage collector, Java has efficient memory management. Now people, what is this memory management? Whenever, okay, whenever you use this word new, what happens when you use this word as new? You will create some object with the help of this new, or else you are creating a variable integer a equals 10. Okay, integer a equals 10. You will consider one more integer b equals 10. Okay, b equals, sorry, let's say 20. Okay, b equals 20. Then you do what? A equals b. Okay, you do a equals b, means now the value of b is coming and getting stored in a. So what happens whenever you created this? Okay, whenever you created this particular object, which, okay, you created a. Okay, you created what? A over here. Then you created the value for a, that is 10. Then you created one more object, that is integer object, that is b. Okay, you created what? B now. Ayo. And you gave the value for b as 20. Now what did you say? Whenever, if, okay, leave this now. For now, forget this. Okay, now if I write SOPA and SOPB, what will be my output if I am executing these two statements? Okay, integer a I am declaring 10. Yes, 10 and 20 will be my output. Hey buggers, 10 and 20 will be the output. Yes, both the values will be printed. But now imagine, okay, now imagine if I write one more sentence over here, that is SOP, sorry, not SOP, A equals B. I write down what? A also, B also. Now what will be the output? Tell me. 20 and 20, correct. Why? Because when I am valuing, what is, when I am putting the value of b in a, what is happening? First this a, okay, first this a was pointing towards this 10 number, b was pointing towards the 20 number. But when I executed this, a is equals b, this a also started pointing towards what? Towards the same object as b. Now this block of memory, okay, this block of memory, nobody is pointing towards this 10. So what will happen to this block of memory? Does it mean that this got deleted? Did we delete this 10 anywhere? Tell me people, did we delete this 10 anywhere? No, we did not delete this 10. But what? Now no one is pointing towards that 10. Means that 10 is like unused. It is not usable now. I cannot access that 10 value from now on. Why? Because now this A is also pointing towards B, the same object. So what will happen? Now this is still sitting in my memory. This value 10 is still sitting in my memory, but it is wasted. Means now for no reason there is one value in my memory, that is 10. No one is using it, no one is bothered about it, no variable is pointing towards it. Still it is what? It is getting, wasting my memory. So this is not efficient memory management. So what will happen? This garbage collector, okay, there is one. Now we have seen one concept of thread. This garbage collector is also one thread, but it is called as a daemon thread. What is it called as? It is called as a daemon thread. Daemon thread means what? What is the meaning of daemon? Tell me. What is the meaning of demon? Ghost. Yes. Demon means ghost, भूत. Okay. Now, भूतों को बुलाने की जरूरत पड़ती है क्या? भूत अपने आप आ जाते हैं. Correct. भूत come on its own. Same way with this garbage collector also, it is a daemon thread. We don't need to call this thread by using that start method. Okay, it is implicitly calling itself. Whenever it will see what it will see, that boss, somebody has dereferred this particular memory block. Means now null is referring to this memory block. Happen, this garbage collector will come, it will delete this memory block. It will memory. So now is there 10 present in my memory? कोई 10 नाम का वैल्यू मेरे मेमोरी में प्रेजेंट है क्या अभी? No. Why? Because this garbage collector came and it removed the dereferred memory block. Okay, that is the reason why this garbage collector is used for memory management, and it is one kind of thread, and it is the daemon thread. What is a daemon thread? The threads which we do not need to call. Okay, we don't need to call the daemon threads in Java. Okay, we just have to derefer the object. This daemon thread will come, it will execute, and it will remove all the unused memory blocks or dereferred memory blocks. Clear, people? Little bit idea about garbage collector? Yes. All right, all right, all right. So it is used whenever a object is dereferred. And why is it used? For efficient memory management. What is it? It is a thread called as, yes, Mayuresh, JVM automatically calls the garbage collector. Yes. Okay, just like JVM automatically calls the main method, we don't need to call the main method anywhere. Same way, we don't need to call the garbage collector anywhere. Okay, this is the thing. All right, guys. So this is it. Role of finalize method over here. Yes, you can use this garbage collector using finalize. Okay, you can explicitly call the garbage collector. Okay, if you want, you can also, Samruddhi, you can also call the garbage collector if you want. But when will you call? Using finalize method. But if you don't want to call it, there is no need of finalize method also. There is no need. You can actually do it. The JVM will actually do it implicitly. Okay, you don't need to call it. If you want to call it, you can call it with the help of finalize method, but implicitly also the JVM will call it. You don't have to call it explicitly. Okay, so this was about the this complete garbage collector concept. What if we pass null value to the variable? Yes, when the object is nullified or dereferred, you can be garbage collecting the object. Like if I say that I am declaring one string variable, okay, let's say here I am declaring one string str equals null. Okay, so it is completely nullified. Okay, if I nullify the object, still it will be garbage collected. Okay, yes, you are correct. All right, people, fine. So the grooming for today has been complete. Please prepare. Okay, do we need to prepare all technical subjects for the interview or topics which I include in my resume are enough? Madhuri Giramkar. Okay, fine. Madhuri, you prepare very strongly what is written in your resume, but what all concepts we have taught you. Okay, whatever concepts we have taught you, you have to prepare on everything. LTI, I don't think LTI, this is for LTI. Okay, LTI is for, I guess, Java requirement. I'm not sure. Please check it. Okay, LTI is for Java. Okay, fine. So guys, this is it. Please prepare if you have any doubts. Okay, what I'll be doing now is I am going to send the J2EE notes on the groups. Okay, I will send the notes please prepare whatever concepts we saw. Please prepare in those notes. Those are the notes from my J2EE batch. Okay, in those notes you will find the programs also. Okay, take the help of those programs, see what is happening in those programs, and read about it. Okay, read about it and get a better clarity. If you have any confusion, please meet me in the branch. I'll be there in the branch from morning 10 o'clock to evening 8:30. Okay, you want interview questions of J2EE, I will post it, no worries. Okay, I will post it in the group. Okay, but guys, fine. So the grooming is done. Please prepare well. Best of luck for your interviews whenever it gets scheduled. Please be prepared. Okay, don't postpone your preparation. Please start preparing for your preparation right now only. Okay, understanding? Yes, I will send the questions for interview, and please prepare on that. All right, guys, best of luck.